So the next thing to happen on AEW Dynamite, we get to the next segment of the night where we see Mark Briscoe. He comes out there to the ring to do that little talky talk, and Mark Briscoe gets into the ring, and then out comes MJF, and then MJF starts cutting the promo, talking about how stupid the talky talk thing is. So that's what he was telling him there. So that's what's going on there. And then MJF starts talking about how, talking about Delaware and all that stuff because that's where Mark Briscoe's from, and talking about Martin Briscoe's kids, calling him inbred and all that stuff. Crazy stuff from MJF. And then Mark Briscoe was talking about how he's going to beat down MJF this Saturday at All In, but then he says that he already knows that MJF wants to talk about his brother, so he might as well go ahead and get it over with because he already prepared himself all week because he already knows that MJF is going to talk about him. And then MJF actually goes the opposite way with this. He actually says that pretty much he's not going to be disrespecting Jay Briscoe. He says that Jay Briscoe is going to go down as one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time, and then he says that Jay Briscoe actually gets a special spot in heaven up there. So that's what he was telling Mark Briscoe, actually saying some good stuff about Jay Briscoe. But then he was talking about the accident and everything, talking about how it shouldn't have been Jay Briscoe that passed away in the car accident. He said that should have been Mark Briscoe. So that's what MJF says there, and then that's when Mark Briscoe takes down MJF, beating him down. MJF starts getting the upper hand at one point onto Mark Briscoe, but then Mark Briscoe starts beating down MJF once again, just laying him out. And then all of a sudden we hear the Hurt Syndicate's theme song playing. So out comes MVP and the AEW World Tag Team Champions, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, the Hurt Syndicate. So they come out there. So while they're walking to the ring and everything, we see MJF getting up on his feet. So Mark Briscoe's pretty much surrounded up until we see Speedball Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight, Jet Speed coming down, attacking the Hurt Syndicate from behind, beating down all three guys outside the ring. And while that's going back and forth and everything, Mark Briscoe starts beating down MJF, and they go through the crowd brawling. So they're in the crowd brawling and everything. We don't see them for the rest of the time, and we see Jet Speed just beating down Bobby Lashley, MVP, and Shelton Benjamin, throwing them into the steel steps. And then we see Jet Speed taking on Shelton Benjamin, beating him down outside the ring. And then we see the Patriarchy coming up. Christian Cage, Kip Sabian, and Nick Wayne, they come out there beating down MVP, throwing him into the barricade, same thing to Bobby Lashley. They grab the steel chair, laying it down. They put Bobby Lashley's leg over that steel chair, and they grab the other steel chair, hitting a concerto onto Bobby Lashley's leg multiple times, laying him out, taking them out pretty much. And then we see Jet Speed beating down Shelton Benjamin on the other side. They throw him back into the ring. Benjamin gets kicked upside the head by a speedball, and then that's when we see Kevin Knight up there on the top turnbuckle, jumping off with the frog splash onto Shelton Benjamin, laying him out. And then we see the Hurt Syndicate laid out, Jet Speed standing tall inside the ring, and the Patriarchy standing tall outside the ring. So that's what happened there. But next there'll be a Fatal 4-Way match for the women up next on AEW Dynamite. So I'll see you guys later. Till then.